County is rich and alive in the arts, and no place more than Bartow, our county seat, and the city of Bartow is hopping with the arts in every direction. Visiting with us today is Glenda Reeves, the curator and artist that is found at Tay Cho Gallery in Bartow. Welcome, Glenda.
Thanks.
Today we're going to talk a little bit, Glenda, about the cool art happenings that are kind of going around all over in Bartow.
Isn't that great?
It is exciting. It's very exciting. And you are well known in this community for having the gallery that's in Bartow and kind of really bringing to the forefront some of the art things that are happening today. So tell us a little bit, though, about how the arts and Bartow became part of your life.
Well, I moved here, it's been 5 years now. Wow, time flies. And I originally opened up over on Central. I had the lobby of the old Stewart Hotel. And it was part of that program where you could come in and we had a reduced rent. And after the year was up, I went and moved over to the other gallery, which is Carolyn's gallery, Carolyn Scheffel. And we share a space. We're two separate entities. Carolyn does framing and she has that whole back room. And I pretty much do the curating, find the artists, we do the shows, I have the strokes in time, I do the artists of the round table, try to put educational programs together for the community so that people who are intimidated by art can come in and hopefully not be so intimidated.
That's right, that's right. Remove some of that fear. You know, being located in the county seat, this is a very, very busy community from about 7:30 in the morning until definitely 5:30 every evening.
That is absolutely true.
And so what kind of foot traffic do you see at the gallery during those times?
Actually, we don't get that much foot traffic because we're off the beaten path. We're a block over from Main Street and a block over from the post office. So as far as walk-by traffic, we don't really get that much, and it's word of mouth.
I see. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, you know, we're coming into the winter months, and I know that, you know, all of the art centers and different programs throughout the county, we have winter calendars. And
Yes,
tell us a little bit about the winter calendar that's coming up, things that are going to be happening maybe November, December, January.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm really excited for a show that we're having that begins November 21st. It is the Alliance for Independence, which is over in Lakeland, and it's a great program where they teach people with handicaps how to live basically on their own. And they have a wonderful art program over there. And in conjunction with Shirley, who runs the program over there, and Sharon Casey Huffstedler, we have put together an exhibit which will be beginning November 21st from 5 till 8 o'clock.
Great. It sounds like you do a lot of partnering in order to make the arts happen for you.
Isn't partnering great, though? I mean, we have to. We're all in the same playground. We should all play together. And you know, there's strength in numbers. So definitely, I partner whenever I possibly can.
Now, you provide programming for some at-risk centers, so your programming really crosses some really big lines in education. Tell us a little bit about some of the programming that you do in some of the at-risk centers.
Well, we had a program for George Harris Shelter that was in conjunction with the Bartow Art Guild, and I would go over there once a month and bring the arts to them. On my own, I work with the University of South Florida and the Visual School of Arts, and I go to Lake Wales, Lakeland, Avon Park, and do residencies for, you know, certain periods of time, usually 8 to 10 weeks, and bring the arts to the people who can't come out and actually participate in the arts in the community.
That's such important programming, on-site arts programming.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you feel the need is for that? I know that we've seen that type of programming in our county begin to grow in the last few years.
It's huge, and there's such a need for it. The arts open people's minds to see things from a different perspective instead of being myopic where you're just learning math and English. When you're learning and doing the arts, you tap into a different part of your brain that allows you to expand your horizons. And you know, as we all know, art's universal. And it's just, the more you can do to enhance the arts and to bring it to the people, I think the more enriched a community is going to be.
Tell me a little bit about the paint along that you do. When I'm thinking partnership, I'm thinking expansion. I recently went to a paint along where it's everybody from everywhere that comes to this, and it's more of a social outing with sort of an art catch to it. What are some of the things that you're experiencing with, let's just say, the general business person who maybe goes, I'm not an artist?
Exactly.
How often does that happen?
Every day.
But then they go to your paint along, and how does that work? How are the experiences in a paint along kind of in comparison to some of the traditional art classes where we know that we're an artist and we're coming in?
Well, first off, by saying a paint along, strokes in time, you're kind of removing the hesitancy behind it, and it's more of a social thing. People come, they bring what they want to drink, they bring food, birthday parties, cakes, so you're already on a social level, and they come in with that mindset. I have people all the time, I can't even draw a straight line. Well, as an artist, you know what? Neither can I. But there is no straight lines.
What a great comment.
So it's all a matter of perspective and how you want to see things. And when somebody shows you how to do something, it just takes the fear out of it. And so when I'm up there and I'm like, okay, you draw a circle here, triangle here, you do this little shape, and it becomes, it's not about the big picture, it's just about the small pieces, and at the end they all fit together. And it works for team building, for corporate businesses who want to come in and do team building with their employees. It's a great venue, and it's a great way to do that, because you can see that even though everybody's doing the same thing, they're all still doing it in their own unique way, which is fabulous.
And it is fabulous, and a lot of fun team building is whenever what you do is bring in the arts component, because some of our guys, our corporate leaders or management teams that are male, come in not knowing that they're going to be doing painting as a team building project, and that has to be just the funniest and greatest experience ever.
It is, and you know what? Those are usually the ones that get into it the most and have the most fun at the end, and they produce these pieces that are like great, and they're like, hey, where did that come from? So yeah, it's really unique and fun and surprising.
As the only community gallery currently in the city of Bartow, now I know that the library has a gallery also on the second floor.
Yes.
But as the downtown region's community gallery, what is the programming, what impact does your programming have, do you feel, on the city of Bartow?
I think it has a huge impact. I think we've brought something into the city that wasn't there before. They have the opportunity to come in and see real pieces of art, not just looking at pictures or slides or having to travel somewhere else to a museum, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. But you get to see some local talent. I try to bring in people from outside of the area so that they can see what's going on outside of Polk County. It's great conversation. People come in and they mingle. It's social hour or 2 hours. They relax. We have great conversations. They actually talk about art, which is something that wasn't happening before. And I think it's a great experience.
I agree. I do think it's a great experience, and a lot of fun for a community the size of Bartow to have such a cool and trendy gallery just right downtown. I know that you feature important landscape pieces. I know that you feature important local artists, but absolutely, you're bringing in abstract art. You're bringing in different mediums, different techniques, some really interesting artists. Do you have some artists that are upcoming that will be coming in from out of town?
At the moment, I have some things that I am working on, some people from Tampa, and I'm working on some Miami people who may be coming in as well, and bring that whole exposure, different types of art.
Have you ever had school tours, children's groups, those types of organizations come through the gallery for a tour? And if so, what were some of the reactions to that?
I have. Not as much as I would like. I would love to get more participation from the schools. But I have had groups of Girl Scouts, elementary schools come in, and they're just like, wow, look at that, you know, and they ask a lot of questions. They're fascinated, especially the younger kids, they're fascinated with color and shapes, and it's just to watch them experience it from my point of view and to watch their expressions, it's priceless.
Well, you know, as human beings, we are so emotional, and
Absolutely.
how great to see young minds get excited about color.
It is.
About color. You know, in abstract art, we find that people that do well in abstract art are just free thinkers. There's not a lot of lines in their world, and you mentioned earlier in this conversation that you're an artist and you don't draw a straight line, and that's okay. When someone comes into your gallery, what are they going to experience there? Are they going to experience a lot of lines, or are they going to experience just do your thing?
It's going to be just do your thing. We have so many different artists that do so many different things. Depending on the show that's being featured in the gallery, like right now, which we talked about, there is an abstract show, and it is my work. So when they come in and they start asking, well, how was this done? I explain it, and there are no straight lines, and it is about color. And when you were talking about abstracts are probably the hardest paintings to pull off because there is no subject, and you have to rely on the rhythm of your strokes, the color, and the juxtaposition of everything in order to make it work. And I'll get people who come in and will say, my kid could do that. And I'm like, great, bring them, let's do it, you know, because how exciting is that?
I love that response, because so often I'll be at a gallery and I'll hear somebody say, oh, my kid could do that. And sometimes that can sound offensive.
It can.
But it's not.
Right.
It really isn't. It really is the greatest compliment on the planet to know that somebody's so comfortable with your piece of work that they feel they could do it.
Absolutely. And I will sit down on the floor with them. We've sat down on the floor and done that. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, Glenda, if somebody wanted to schedule a tour at Tay Cho Gallery, or they wanted to talk to you about possibly doing a show that you featured at your gallery, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, you can call me, 863-519-5215. I'm available on my website, taycho.com, Taycho.com. Or email me, glenda@taycho.com. Or just walk into the gallery. I'm usually there. Yeah, just walk in. We're good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Glenda, thank you so much for sharing about Tay Cho Gallery and the cool stuff you have going in the arts world in Bartow.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
To have a really great art experience, you're not going to want to miss a visit to the Tay Cho Gallery in downtown Bartow. You can visit with curator and director, also artist, Glenda Reeves, by visiting her studio and her gallery space at 395 East Summerlin Street in Bartow. If you want information on how to schedule a tour, maybe get your student group or your team building project to an artist and to a gallery, you'll give her a call at 863-519-5125, or of course you can visit her at her website at www.taycho.com.